Can't wait for them to read my PDZ review.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Ouch. You know what, dude? You're wrong about that.
Okay? I will fight you with the velocity and the ferocity of a velociraptor.
Wait, I think that's Patrick. He's drunk. He's supposed to be reviewing Hexic. Hey man,
Hey, what's up?
are you serious about the PDZ score that you're gonna give it?
Yeah, perfect art. Yeah, you're crazy, dude.
Like, you obviously don't understand the multiplayer. What? Okay, look, as a Halo player, you're not gonna understand Counter-Strike. You know, you're not gonna understand ground-based. You don't play Elimination in Halo.
So you're gonna pick 4 modes out of the entire game and decide those 4 modes are the greatest thing ever to give this thing a 9.
Yes.
There's a single player game. What do you think about the single player game? You said. Say it.
It's got problems.
That's it. So you're like playing it down because you're trying to defend your score so hard.
Then you had some level design problems.
Some. PDZ is a really poorly designed game. Okay, let's talk about single player for a second. We'll get back to multiplayer. Okay, I'll give you that. If you really like multiplayer enough to give it a great score, that's possible. Single player, you have to give me, it's a poorly designed mess. It's bad.
It's poorly designed, but it's also highly replayable.
Why? Because Ken Lobb told you that, hey, this is designed for speedruns, where you don't know where you're going, the objectives are unclear. The game has to draw arrows for you to tell you where you're going, because it knows you're going to get lost.
But
if
thank
you
God
wait
for
around,
those arrows, man.
yeah, because it's a poorly designed game.
And
Or
yet you
like,
refuse to acknowledge that the multiplayer is super
I'm not
good.
there yet. We're
Super
still
good.
talking about single player. It's not super good.
It's super good.
It's not super good.
It is really good.
It's all right. I'll give you an example. When I played Halo 1, I played multiplayer. When I was done reviewing it, I could not wait to play some more. And it was a weekly occurrence. Like every week, every day, I wanted to play. Wait! Let me finish.
I want to
Let
go
me
home
finish.
right now and play multiplayer.
And I don't. PDZ.
Yeah, I do.
I don't. So why is your score any more important than mine? Why is your score any more right than mine?
No, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying you don't understand the game.
Flag return!
Hey, how you doing?
Long time no see.
Yeah,
How was your Thanksgiving break?
good. I was in Chicago, not
Snowing.
far from where Patrick's parents are, apparently.
You know, that kid was drunk the other night.
I know.
He left me
He
a
sends
message.
out drunk Xbox Live messages.
Anyway, I have an early Christmas present for you. It's a Xbox 360 Power Brick in its own box.
You shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Just in case
Well,
yours melts.
I have something for you. Here's a copy of High Seas for the
Oh,
Engage.
dude, I've been looking for this. No. So, Shu is totally crazy. Like, I mean, I just talked to him about PDZ.
Right.
He totally hates it. Like, you know, he thinks it's it's slightly above him.
I don't know about that. That's a game I think that it's really got me thinking about the way people review games, because objectively speaking, there's a list this long of things that are wrong with it. The AI, the way things scoot around, the final boss is just the joke. I mean, there's a lot of things that are really bad about it, but I played it all the way through to the end. I want to play it all the way through again on a different level. I'm going back and I'm hooked on getting the achievement points. And
Yeah.
I'm logging on with friends and playing kill count games and stuff just to get the achievement. But there's subjectively speaking, there's something magical there that just sort of going through and checking all the boxes and saying, well, this is wrong with it, this is wrong with it, this is wrong with it. That's not really
Right. Yeah.
how to review this game.
Exactly. Or people would read my review and I give it a 9, and they'd be like, "How could you give it a 9 if the single player sucks?" And I'm like, "Well, it's not. You can't review things separately. You have to look at it from the whole package." Well, I think you're onto something though with the whole achievements thing, and I mean, you can only do something like that with Xbox 360. Because imagine like if you weren't online, then who cares if you had gamer points or whatever. It's one of the you know how PCs feel dead when it's not online. Like, what do you use a computer for if you're not on the internet?
Right.
So the 360 now has kind of approached that feeling where if I'm not on Xbox Live, then the console feels kind of dead and disconnected and isn't really living up to its potential. And that's how well it's integrated its online services. And I think Sony's in trouble.
But I think it's more than just being online. It's everything about the 360 operating system is just. There's just something really complete about it. I mean, there's the parental controls, there's the universal control setup, so you know you can always have your look inverted. There's like lots of nice little things to make it feel like yours. That they all seem so obvious when you're going through them, but you spend the first hour when you're sort of poking around in the dashboard, going, oh, that's a really good idea.
I mean, what was the last time when did we ever poke around in the dashboard of a console? I mean, did you ever poke around in the PlayStation 2 dashboard just for the fun of it? You know,
never.
Yeah. Masako, who like watches me play games all day, but she could care less. She was super ultra impressed just because I put one of our vacation trip pictures as my 360 background, and I was streaming that off of my computer.
I mean, the gamer score thing is what made us play games 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, you know, I have friends that I go online with just for us to boost our gamer score up and to get another achievement. We'll go on and we'll set up a room and there'll be a couple of us and we'll set up a kill count game in Perfect Dark and we'll just keep adding bots and jacking up the difficulty level until we've got, you know, it's us against 14 bots set at dark level or whatever, and we'll see how long we can last. I don't know, it's making me play games differently. Maybe it's you do need to prove that if you've got a game, people can look at your gamer card and they say, oh, he's playing Perfect Dark, and then they look at your achievements, and if you don't have many, the assumption is, well, he's not really playing it very seriously, is he? You know, he's beating it on agent level, and that's it. You know.
And it's kind of creepy too that like you could see what people are doing exactly, like what level they're on. Like last night, like Kaiser messaged me and he goes, "Dude, you're losing." at Eradication.
I play a lot of games online with my brother-in-law. He's in Chicago. I'm here. If he's playing PGR and I'm playing King Kong, you know, we'll see that each other is online. He knows it's me because it's my name in every game. And Sony's missing so much by not doing that.
Like
that
having a central...
You want people to know. It needs to be like your buddy name in AIM. If you're online, you're you, and whatever you're playing it's irrelevant. Having IDs tied to specific games just seems so contrary to everything. You can't do something like Marketplace in that kind of environment.
A lot of people are spending a lot of time on games I wouldn't expect them to. I mean, it's not just PGR and it's not just, PZ. There's King Kong, and for instance, Ryan's been playing a whole ton of Quake 4. I mean, Quake 4, that's the game that nobody cared about when the system launched. Who cares about Quake 4? It's already on PCs.
I can't believe you're still playing that, yo.
What?
Quake?
Dude, it's good.
It's good. Well, so look, you're going to get more use out of this, so there you go. Make good use of that for me.
I don't need this. Anyway.
Yeah.
Dude, it's good. You're wrong.
Man, I'm not wrong. It is good on PC where the frame rate doesn't slow down.
I don't find that the online play has that many frame rate issues at all. I think the frame rate problems are primarily in the single player game.
Totally. Agree with you 100%.
So for me, it was that the multiplayer was surprisingly good. Like I was surprised that I could play a game that's as fast as Quake is in multiplayer, and I don't know why it works so well, but it's never. I don't know. I've never liked FPS control so much as I do on the 360 for some reason. This weekend, I'm sitting down and I've got a giant stack of 360 games to play, and my roommate walks in and he's like, "Hey, let's play some Quake 4." I'm like, dude, as far as I've seen of the single player, it's not that good. I played a little bit and it's not that great, and the reviews coming out are pretty whack. And he was like, come on, let's just put it in, let's play it. And so he put it in and started playing, and I sat and watched cynically for a few moments before I was like, wait, this looks pretty fun. So then we started switching off. I'd play a level, he'd play a level, and it's definitely better than Doom 3.
It's funny you said that, because it's the same engine, right, with some improvements.
Sure.
But if you're comparing the two games, this is by far a better game than Doom. For me, it's a total deal killer to have that slowdown during the single player because it disrupts the game a lot. Especially like those vehicle levels, like when you're in the tank, the hover tank, and you come into the area that has the flying enemies. The frame rate drops pretty bad there, man.
I think the vehicle sections are by far the poorest parts of the game because in general, you're in a vehicle, you control it from first person, so basically the controls is the same as any other part in the game, except for you walk around real slow. The squad combat is much better than I thought it would be. Like the AI guys actually do something. They actually do some damage, shoot the enemies. I love how you can recharge your ammo and your or not your ammo, your armor and your health at any given time, as long as you have a medic or a tech guy around. If frame rate is one of the poorest parts of the single player, I'd say the load times are killer in both single player and in multiplayer. And specifically when you're waiting to, it's good that that they have like a lobby system like the Halo one for finding games, but it does take forever. Like you'll be waiting in your lobby for like over a minute, and then there's like 3 different load screens before a multiplayer game actually starts. It's weird. Like it goes to one loading screen, then switches to another one, and then switches back to a third one before you actually put into the game. I have played some really good games where I'll get into a death match where I think that it's going to be a match with like 8 people in it, but you know, like all of a sudden it's just you versus one other guy. When you're sitting there, you're playing, you're complimenting each other on how well you're doing using your headset, which is something that you don't get on with PC play because not everyone's using a voice communication. It's so cool to have these like really awesome competitive 1v1 matches through Xbox Live and have it work. Like I just never thought that that part of the Quake experience would translate to console, and it totally does.
It's a good game. We liked it a lot on the PC. It's just, to me, having played both of them, there's a big difference, and playing it on a great PC rig is going to make a big difference. But that's, you know, I want to make sure that people don't think that we're trying to come down hard on the Xbox. You know, we did that HD comparison fixture, and they should take a look at that and look and, you know, see, hey, we're not calling out the Xbox as bad. We're looking at specific pieces of software and saying, okay, is this what the box is capable of, or is this what last generation was and they're just putting it over on the machine?
I agree that people should look at the feature. What I disagree with is your score might cause people to not play Quake 4 on the Xbox 360, and I think that's not necessarily. I think it's a really good FPS game. It may be much better on PC. I don't know. I haven't played it there, but even on 360, I think it's a pretty fun game.
All right. So how about this then? Don't skip it. But if you've got access to a high-end PC, play it on the PC.
I think the main thing to keep in mind is that we're basically calling out the laziness of developers rather than, you know, like saying the 360 isn't a next-gen machine. It's next-gen for plenty of reasons. The graphics are great, and, you know, we just hope that in the future, you know, we hope next year's Madden looks like the target video that they proposed, last year.
I know there's been a lot of, well, especially on the forums, a lot of the hardcore gamers feel that, you know, well, there's been some drama like surrounding Madden, for instance. And I think the cause of all this is you guys at first released these target videos. Why the target videos? The games actually just do look like games. They don't look like CG.
Oh, I don't know if that's fair. You know, we do the target videos early on to have something to aspire to. So while the programmers are building the engine for the game, you know, you can't get all the content in there from day one. So we produce the target videos and we say, you know, this is what we're going after. Year one, you know, hopefully we get most of the way there, maybe not every single thing, but, you know, it gives you a taste of, okay, I see what they're after, and, you know, what I can expect on next gen. Whether it comes out in a particular, you know, this year or next year, you know, we're always improving the game, so.
Let's just take Madden, for instance. Do you guys think that you've met that visual standard that you guys had for the target video, or?
You know, in some respects, yes. You know, I think in terms of the players, how detailed they are, yeah, sure. I mean, but it's never intended to be, you know, a specific match. You know, it's something that we're aspiring to. So, you know, it's one of those things that actually makes it fun to work in games. Is every year there's something new, you know, we can add to it, and it actually, for me, it'd be kind of boring if we nailed it all. Because then what would we do next year? You know.
Damn it. Man, fuck the connection at work. It sucks.
Infected.
Another message from Patrick.
Trey, I don't need to take this. You think you're my boss or something? Like, I don't, you know, I don't need to take this. I'll do what I want. I'll play Hexic. Maybe I won't play Hexic. Maybe let's play Geometry Wars, but maybe then I'll cry about it, because Jared's got the high score anyway, and who's going to beat 1,000,000? Not me.
Not you, for sure. Maybe me. Oh, now a message from Mark. He wants to chat.
Okay.
Hey man.
Yo, man.
Hey, let's play some Gauntlet.
What?
You down for some Gauntlet? Some old school Gauntlet.
Yeah, let's do it.
Sweet.
I bought it. I haven't played the multiplayer.
Alright, cool. Yeah, hold on one second. Let me, invite you.
I'm gonna turn you down a little bit.
Do what you gotta do. I got a private game set up.
Whoa, this is pretty cool.
There you are. It's all about the wizard, my friend.
Up to 4?
Yep.
I think I'm gonna be the elf.
Yeah, you would be the elf.
Welcome. Treasure 100 points.
Mark. Is that better? No, there's still.
Wait, what? Hello?
Is that better?
Here, dude, just...
Dude, just come over to my office.
No.
That was fast. You brought me some Tide.
Stay clean.
Glad
Stay clean.
tidings.
Yeah. Dude. You know what? I can still hear you right now.
Yeah, I know.
From my
It's amazing.
Xbox.
Well, your office is like 50 feet away, 60 feet away from everyone?
You've been playing a lot of Xbox Live?
Yeah, actually. Mostly Gauntlet, though. It was the game that actually made me buy some of those little points. It is reselling you the same thing you probably already have, you know,
I mean, come on,
in an arcade collection, but...
You have MAME, you know?
Yeah, but like, playing it on your controller, like, getting an invite, you know, from somebody, seeing,
True.
like, yeah, Mark's playing Gauntlet, and then, oh, yeah, shit, I want to play some Gauntlet, like, I'm just gonna send him an invite. And then the other thing that I really like is how you can compare against your friends, like, score against your friends.
I'm not totally sold on the whole retro gaming arcade side, but I have been playing Geometry Wars, and that rules. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a fun single-player shooter. I mean, really old school.
It's basically Robotron. Isn't Mutant Storm also
Okay,
kind
there's
of
like
that
4
same...
variations of Robotron.
Yeah.
On Xbox. Like,
And
there's like
Robotron
Mutant
itself
Storm.
is coming
Yeah,
next
exactly.
month. Yeah.
Mutant Storm, Robotron, Geometry Wars, and Smash TV.
Smash TV, yeah, that's right.
The little voice over here. Too.
The thing that they talked about before with Halo, but that's really cool with these live arcade games, is being able to rank yourself against your friends. Because it's like, okay, you're not going to be the best in the world or the country or whatever, but it is possible to be the best one out of your friends. You know? And those are the people you care about anyway. They're saying these, you know, indie developers and smaller games are going to get play on Xbox Live Arcade that we wouldn't normally see, you know, 2D games and stuff like that. I mean, that'll be interesting to see, like, how much of that really happens, because it sounds really good.
Well,
but
it's kind of already happening. I mean, you know, XPR person just emailed me yesterday saying, like, hey, you know, we have a new basketball game or whatever, Hoop World. You know, that's
really?
That's the Unreal Engine basketball game. I mean, it's pretty amazing. It's like some developer we've never heard of is releasing a full game. You know?
Right.
So.
So, we were at Sega, we played Rub Rabbits.
Yeah, we did.
What'd you think?
It's it's like Feel the Magic with multiplayer right now. I guess I'm saying that because they did just show us multiplayer.
Yeah, like one of the games we played was what they called the Mario Kart game, which was actually more like it was a race, but you were controlling kind of like you play Monkey Ball DS. You know, you move the stylus on the bottom screen to race, then you roll around. It's kind of haphazard though. You don't really know exactly where you're going with each stroke. You kind of do, but there's no way to perfect it really.
But most of the games
kind of just going crazy.
That's how most of the games feel, I would say. Is
Yeah,
that they're like you're rubbing frantically on the screen, you know, just trying to make whatever thing happen, whether it's throwing a ball, moving your character, doing whatever.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of we played at least 2 or 3 games that used the microphone, and we were blowing into the microphone to do various things, and that was pretty interesting. But aside from the multiplayer, I think what's more interesting is kind of the single player progression and how you have you at the beginning building a baby, and you know, it is weird. You and the producer made like a really interesting.
Yeah, my baby looked like a horse. What the hell was that?
I thought it was more like a cow, but
okay,
whatever.
That's true. Yeah, it had some horns too.
Yeah, it looked like a devil baby.
When you make a baby, you put in like your blood type, you put in your age, and then you decide to cut a cake. It's kind of random. Like basically, you each hit up and down on the D-pad at the same time, and like however well you synchronize your time, then you cut down the middle of the cake.
Right.
And both times when we watched them do it, like two Sega people, and when I did it with one of them, it was really awkward, you know, like the cake is like this, you know, and the lines always end up like this. There's no way to like, I mean, I'm sure there's a way to get a straight line, but it's not easy, and it's not something two people who have never played before who are trying to like test their compatibility will really be able to see just based on that. Two of them did it. They got a crappy score.
Right.
Me and the guy tried to do it, and we got a crappy score. And like, these weren't just like Fs, you know, these were 1% out of 100. So
it's true. It's a lot like Field of Magic. It looks like
it's,
Field
by
of
the way,
Magic.
characters from the first Field of Magic.
Right.
Even though the Where Do Babies Come From title, which probably more people know the game of by now, just because like that's what everyone's commented on message boards and all that.
And people who, I mean, Field of Magic in some way was like kind of a hardcore cult game in the States,
yeah.
I think, and so anyone who's following the sequel is probably thinking of it as
it's the least hardcore game ever.
Yeah.
It's only hardcore because of the art style.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's kind of cool. You know, it works.
It works.
Ready. Go.
I don't know if you have been keeping up how much you play your PSP, but since it came out, Wipeout Pure has been like my favorite game for the system.
Yeah, I remember we were in Amsterdam and like starting to update from the XO5 show that Microsoft had, and Ryan's like in the room like trying to get the internet connection to work just so he could download the latest Wipeout pack.
The game itself was awesome when it first came out. It had a bunch of tracks, like just as many as any of the other Wipeouts. You know, it felt like a full-featured Wipeout game, but in the following months they released so many pieces of downloadable content. The final one actually just came out like last week, I think, which is Delta Pack 2. And now, you know, the game has so many more tracks, so many more cars. It's just like, it's amazing how much they've been supporting this game, even though, you know,
they're not making
any money off of it, and it came out so long ago.
Except with Stealth.
Yes, that's true.
Stealth they're charged far too much for.
The Delta Packs have been excellent. I think they're like the best looking courses probably. They also play a bit differently than the previous tracks in the Wipeout game because they're a bit wider. So in some cases it feels a bit more like F-Zero because the tracks are so wide.
Okay, yeah.
But the most hardcore thing, I wish the Omega Packs that are coming out in Europe were coming out in America. They're not. They're European exclusive. But one final pack, the Omega Pack, with 4 tracks and 4 cars and 4 skins did just come out in Europe, and the tracks were all created by like European art directors, and they have a completely different look and feel than the original tracks, any of the other tracks in the Wipeout games. Like there's one that looks like that's like kind of graffiti flavored and has spray cans everywhere and graffiti all over the track. There's another one that's just kind of looks really like hip and snowy. It's like blue and orange. Again, really beautiful. It's kind of got the speakers pumping and like giant monkeys and stuff. And my favorite of the 4 new tracks is this one that's kind of like a Japanese cartoon. It has kind of a Wind Waker-y vibe, but it's like more psychedelic, and there's these weird tonsil things that pop up, and basically they're stunning. They look wonderful. It's too bad that American gamers aren't going to be able to get their hands on that pack because it is really cool. And the tracks, aside from looking really cool, the tracks themselves, they're like really technical. They're very well put together. They have more interesting turns and jumps than some of the original tracks have had in the past. So it is a shame that we won't be seeing it. But if you're hardcore and you do want to get a hold of the Omega Pack, you can buy the European version of Wipeout.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask, because you did that, so you'll be able to work that from here, because there's no region coding.
No, there is no region coding on the PSP, so if you are a super hardcore Wipeout fan, I do recommend picking up the European version of the game so that you can get access to that. I've been so happy with the way that they've been supporting this game. It's such a nice thing to have a game that just gets constantly updated, like Wipeout was on the PSP, and I hope more developers take advantage of that. And more specifically, I hope Studio Liverpool, who we just know is working on Wipeout for PS3 right now. I mean,
Brian knows.
I know.
Yes.
They're doing it. I just can't help but hope that they include some downloadable content in that version as well. And online play, please.
Yes.
Oh, sounds like someone's back.
Yeah, who else would play music this time?
No belt.
Dude, haven't seen you in like a month. Where you
Yeah,
been?
man. I've been in Japan.
Chilling with Kojima.
Yeah.
How'd that go?
I was over at his crib. It's like just got this sweet apartment in Roppongi Hills, man, and we were talking about everything.
Cool. So how'd it go? I mean, you got interview shit with him?
Dude, it was awesome. We got like an hour-long video interview with him, and like he hits everything. He's like 360 this, riding that, working with Itagaki, Rumble Roses, sick.
Did you say Raiden?
Raiden, yeah. There's some Raiden in there.
That guy's back, dude. Hey, speaking of Raiden, you got my Hardgate book?
Totally. Oh.
Sweet. Razor Ramon?
Razor Ramon, HG.
Yes. Alright. So I was thinking next week could just be like a Milky Kojima show or something.
Sure.
Yeah.
I got the time.
Sweet, man. Thanks.
You got it.